box scores.
Box scores
In Bourbon.
We check each other's box scores and scores online.
baseball. Box scores.
So football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey.
Box scores in Bourbon.
All right, we're here now.
We're back. Episode 2.
Episode dos. Dos
Of
episado for
Box scores and
Espanol
bourbon.
listeners out there.
Let's kick things off on the right foot. Cheers.
Cheers, my man. All right.
So how have you been since we last recorded this?
I've been eating my words with this with that Rams Lions prediction. Lions pulled it off, and I got to
Yes, they
tell you,
did.
my bracket has been altered because Detroit won that game.
Oh,
And
a little
because
bit.
and because of how they won it. It wasn't that I didn't have Detroit love. It wasn't that I didn't believe in the power of Motown. It's because we watched Detroit in the regular season. I think we all saw the same games. We all saw them blow leads within the last minutes of the fourth quarter. So it wouldn't have surprised me if the Rams won that game. They were the hottest team outside of Green Bay, the hottest NFC team the last 2 months of the season. So,
Yep.
but now that Detroit beat LA, my predictions for Detroit go really deep, real deep, and I've been right so far. My call against Tampa Bay was correct. But before we get into that, I need to know how my boy Manny is, if he's still reeling from this. Not only the Dallas beatdown, the greatest beatdown since the Alamo, but the just the fact that Jerry Jones looks at what he has and he says, not only are we going to roll it back, but the problem was I didn't give Dak enough money. So let me figure out how to give Dak more money than Mahomes has.
So are you
How's my
trying
boy
to check
doing?
on me? Are you trying to check on me, or are you just trying to roast me?
I'm a friend. And as a good friend, I check on you through roast. Okay. This is how real friends check on friends. Yeah. We roast each other. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this. I am not having a good time. If you remember last time we were talking, I said, either way, I'm going to be a happy camper. I said, we're either going to destroy the Packers, which is what should have happened, or we're going to get our ass kicked, and we're going to fire McCarthy and fire everyone. And guess what? Nothing happened. I am not happy. I am not a happy camper, and I expected more. I have been going over and over through my mind, trying to figure out a good reason to be hopeful for next year.
McCarthy sounded like
I
when he said buy into us, he sounded like the little kid on the playground that when you're picking teams for kickball. And he's like, just buy into me. I promise. I'll do really good. Please.
Yeah. I was not
Oh
impressed.
man, what a weakling.
My heart is so hurt right now. I don't even know where to begin. McCarthy. The only thing that I can encourage myself with, and I have done a lot of digging, the fact that he's on his last year. That might give him a reason to be better.
Hey, look,
Low-key,
it gave Jason Garrett a reason to be better, and they extended him. And look where that
Yeah.
got you. It got you to Mike McCarthy.
all I want is I just want to make it to the championship. McCarthy if he could just get us to the championship, that's good enough for it. That's
No.
good enough. You have any idea how many videos I've seen of look at all these teams that have made it before the Cowboys. Look at all now with the Lions making it to the NFC Championship. The Cowboys and the Commanders are the only teams that haven't made it to the NFC Championship in this
No.
in the last 25. I don't want to hear it. I am not happy, and I have been avoiding as soon as a Cowboys conversation comes on any radio or radio shows or TV shows. I change it because I am not ready for that. I need about
Yeah.
6 months. To top it off, I lost a bet. And this
Ooh.
bet is going to, yes, not money. This bet involved my pride.
What do you
My
got to do?
beautiful my beautiful truck got involved, and I regretted it since the moment the kickoff happened for
What
that game.
happened? What you have to do to the truck? You had to, what, Jordan Love's #1? What is this?
Just about.
Bring back Romo?
That's the only thing that could have made it worse. No, I bet with, I guess you could call him my cousin-in-law, my partner's cousin. I bet he's a Packers fan, so the loser of that game was going to get the opposite team's decal and put it on their car from the moment after the Super Bowl all the way to the beginning of the regular season of next year. So now I have to have this
It's,
hideous Packers decal on my beautiful truck, and I am not happy. So that was just the cherry on top. The fact that the Cowboys got destroyed was already bad enough. But then all the entire time I was watching the game with him, all I just kept hearing in the background is that decal's gonna look so fucking good on your damn truck. It's gonna look so scooby. So I have nothing to be happy about right now. I am broken inside, and I'm hoping that McCarthy. I don't even know what I'm hoping for at this point. That he does better
hey,
than the Eagles next
look,
year. Jeez, that's a low bar to clear.
Mike McCarthy can be the fat phoenix that rises from the ashes. Okay? I've never seen a fat phoenix. I've never seen a phoenix. But I've heard phoenix, they rise from the ashes. And my goodness, this will be the fattest phoenix I've ever seen rise from the ashes. And then crash immediately into the grill, the nearest grill that's open.
So I have done, like I said, I've been digging to find a reason to be confident about Cowboys next year because that's all I have to look forward to. Something to latch my horse onto, my pride, something to look forward to. And I found something. I
What is
found
it?
something, and it's making me just have a little bit of hope. So McCarthy was a Packers coach starting in 2006, right?
Mm-hmm.
On his fifth year with the Packers, guess
I've
what they
heard
did?
this. They won the Super Bowl. I've heard
They
this.
won the Super Bowl.
I've
They
heard this
won the Super
before.
Bowl.
I've heard this. But
And,
the difference, and I look, no one, I don't want to be the one to not burst your bubble here. Okay. Let me be the first to tell you.
well, let me finish blowing up my bubble before you burst it. Let's go there first.
Finish blowing your bubble.
So I did more digging, and I found some stuff that gave me even more optimism. So I went in and looked at their rating, his team's overall grades across the board. Because McCarthy got rid of Kellen Moore. That's his
Mm-hmm.
last name, right?
Yep.
He got rid of him, so now it's his team, right? Now Dan Quinn's probably on his way out, so it's probably going to be overall whatever he envisions.
Mm-hmm.
So 2009, the year before they won the Super Bowl, their point differential was second.
Okay.
This year they finished second in point differential. Their offense was ranked sixth in 2009, and this year they finished their offense ranked fifth. Their points per game, they were third in 2009, first this year.
Yeah.
Rushing offense, their ranking was 15th in 9 and 14th in 2003 or in 2023. The yardage by rushing was 14th and 14th. Their passing offense was 10th and 8th. Their touchdown ratio was 4th and 1st this year, and their defense was 2nd and 5th, and points that were on the defensive side was 7th and 5th.
Okay.
So there was a lot of similarities. Maybe
Okay.
just McCarthy just needs 5 years to do something. Maybe, older guy, slower brain. Maybe he just needs that long to get things going. And the
Slower
5th year, maybe that's what he needs. He just needs 5 years in an organization to settle in, find the way things are going, and then, never know. The 2024 season might be the Cowboys' year after all. I am almost willing to bet actual money. As soon as this year's stats end, I'm almost confident enough, just enough, to go bet on Dak Prescott being the MVP next year. He looked really good with McCarthy this year.
Spoken like a true Cowboys fan.
It's not like a true. I am more realistic than most Cowboys fans.
There's not one fan base in the universe, even on Kleptar on the moon of Jupiter. Okay, I believe there's a fan base out there that's just maybe just a little bit more delusional than the Cowboy fan. But no more delusional fan base than to sit there and say we got blown out. Our quarterback looked like trash. I'm going to put money next year. He's going to be MVP. I feel it. I feel it happening.
He looked good. Hey, you know what it is? MVP is a regular season award. He looked great during the regular season.
He looked great at home against sub 500 teams. He looked amazing. He looked so good. Yeah.
What I was disappointed about was that Dan Quinn, a quarterback can have a bad game. An offense can't always be clicking. They were great all year, besides, I think, the Buffalo game and the Niners game, but they found themselves after the Niners game. That's besides the point. If your offense is struggling, your defense can't give up 50 points in a freaking game. Your defense has to step up. And Dan Quinn has been building that defense for them to just lay an egg when it actually matters, when they actually need something to happen on the other side of the ball. The offense put up 35 points. Yeah, like the last 7, maybe the last 10 points were like garbage time because I think the backups were already in at that point. But that wasn't a bad performance on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm.
If Dak Prescott was feeling so much pressure because he realized how crappy the defense was going to look, of course he's going to be forcing the ball and trying to making throws that are a little bit more risky to try getting something going, which is what I credit that pick 6 that he threw. That's what I credit that to. He's just trying to do more than he should have had to.
Okay. Yeah. No, I mean, none of that's untrue. It's all very true. I mean, watching that game, you could see, and okay, so here's where I will lend some validity to your delusion, is that McCarthy fired Kellen Moore and said, you know what, Dak, go out there, go throw more touchdowns. It did seem like this season was the first season where Dak was in charge. And whatever was going on in the field, Dak was the one wearing it on his shoulders, which is a good thing. You want to see how your quarterback responds to that. And, the score was a lot further apart than the game was. But you could see that there were parts in that game where Dak was taking chances. He was trying to put Dallas back into it. He was more than willing to take on the burden of being the one to be able to try to propel Dallas into the next round. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Well, I know that didn't happen. That's why we're here.
The problem is that it's not happened for almost 3 decades now. It's not happened for a while. And people
I am convinced.
You're convinced what?
That I'm the reason, personally, selfishly, I think I am the curse of the Cowboys. I am a loyal fan, not big-headed Cowboys fan. The last year they won the Super Bowl was 1995. I was born 1995.
Look at that. So you just have to die. That's what it is. You have to not exist anymore. Is this?
I just think I'm not meant to see them win the Super Bowl.
Is this the parlay you want to make?
Yeah. Leg 1, Manny passes away. Leg 2, Cowboys win Super Bowl. I like
Manny
it.
Passes away Sunday, divisional round. Cowboys win, and the rest is history.
I would haunt the Cowboys if somehow I died and they still lost in the first round. I would haunt every single player on that team for the rest of my existence.
I have a sneaky suspicion that they're not going to call your bluff on that. You're gonna be allowed to haunt them. No, but speaking of teams that looking good right now, Chargers. I knew it.
Chargers.
All along. Jimothy Harbaugh was coming back to the NFL. He was going to go to the team that was probably one of there's not one team that needed a head coach that had an identity that was so lost and buried in the mud and had no idea what their identity was. And Jim Harbaugh is going to bring it to the Chargers. This team is ready. They don't need the players. They have the players. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I know you got stuff to say. I know.
Oh,
You
I
got
got
stuff to
something to
say
tell you. Oh,
about
I
my
got
boy
something to
Herbert.
say. Yeah, I do.
Justin
But go ahead.
Herbert.
Go ahead.
You talk about Dak Prescott being MVP next season. Justin Herbert will be in the MVP conversation next season. If Jim Harbaugh can do this with Josh Johnson in San Diego, anyone can make Andrew look like Andrew Luck in Stanford. Alex Smith was always been the just horrendously underrated quarterback in the NFL.
Agreed.
He made Colin Kaepernick look like a
Your
decent athlete.
boy Kaepernick.
He made Kaepernick look like a decent athlete. And then he did it with J.J. McCarthy.
I'm not too sold on J.J. McCarthy.
He's got your boy J.J. thinking first round. I'm going first round. I'm gonna turn around some franchise. You watch it.
Not sold on it.
I hope that franchise has a banging running game because other than that, it ain't gonna happen.
No. Watching him go up against Alabama, he did not look like some top level quarterback. I think he's a system quarterback too.
No, he didn't. But Jim Harbaugh is going to be a revelation to Justin Herbert. He's going to be a revelation to that franchise. He's going to be what Marty Schottenheimer was to that franchise, except Jim Harbaugh is going to bring playoff victories to the Chargers. That's what's going to happen. You
playoffs, sure.
Guarantee it.
Playoffs, yeah. Jim Harbaugh, is he like just doing side quests at this point? Like he played for the Chargers and then he went to Michigan. He goes back, coaches Michigan, and wins the national championship with them. Like, you know what? F it. I'm already good enough. Let me go try winning a championship for my other team, the Chargers. Is he just like living like the side quest life? Is that what's going on with him?
If it's side quest or not, whatever it is, this dude is a winner. This dude knows how to develop winners. He knows how to develop a winning culture. He's done it everywhere he's been. Now, I'm surprised. I didn't realize Jim Harbaugh was at Michigan for 9 years. But those last 3-4 years, that's something to write home about. That's something to write home about. And he's going to turn this Charger franchise around. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
So you told me when we were talking about this as it was happening, because we kind of text and call each other as we see things happening because we can't contain ourselves with the excitement. You told me this was a ready-built team, and I had that seed in the back of my mind. I'm like, no, I don't think so. And let me tell you what I found. Let me open this.
Please.
The Chargers are $44 million over the cap for next year.
Okay. Yeah, and
they need the biggest player that they're going to need to get rid of are their most impactful players. How are you going to tell me this is a ready team when most of their big time players are going to be the reason that they probably need to cut pieces that they're going to need to build on, because you can't just you can't run a team with 5 top paid players. You need a whole 52-man roster.
No.
How are you going to say that they're ready built?
You call Mickey Loomis and company down in New Orleans, and they will teach you the art of kicking the can down the road.
Oh yeah, the Saints are doing a really good job at taking that record every time.
Over the cap every single offseason, and they go into the official free agency with $20 million to spend. They've been doing it for 6-7 years now. Has it driven me nuts? Absolutely, it has, because that team needs a restart. It needs a refresh.
I think this is a year.
If the NFL was a keyboard, the Saints would be F5. Hit F5 right now. Refresh. Okay, it's time to start over. It's time. But now it's too late because you gave Derek Carr that obscene contract. And now the Saints are acting like, oh, we fired our offensive coordinator. They're acting like they don't need to hire one. It's almost as if they forgot they haven't hired one yet. They're just they're waiting.
It's Jim Harbaugh. He's going to do everything.
They're waiting. The Saints are waiting for everyone to be done with their hires. They're like,
oh, the Saints, my bad.
Yeah, we'll get the scraps. Don't worry about it. But if Jimmy Harbaugh needs to know how to kick the can down the road, Just call my boys in the 504. They'll help you. They done it for quite some time. They did it for a while. And they did it when they had the elite quarterback. When they had Drew Brees, they kept kicking the can down the road. They kept making the playoffs. They kept winning the division.
I don't see it. If you're talking about the Saints, I don't see it. They're 88 mil over the cap this next year. I think this is the year they're finally going to. They have nothing to build on. Who do they have to build on? Michael Thomas? No, definitely not. That guy can't keep his freaking. Yeah, he's not. He's done. Derek Carr, I wouldn't be the guy that'd be like, oh, he's a franchise. Please, let's keep building upon him. I think this is the year that the Saints actually blow everything up and just start from scratch. $80 million over the cap? Are you kidding me?
They are. They always are.
Some teams don't even have 80 million tied to players this year.
There are some MLB franchises that don't even have $80 million committed to their rosters.
Looking at you, Oakland A's. Oh, sorry, Las Vegas A's.
They don't know who they're going to be for the next 3 years. They can be the Wichita City A's, whatever minor league ballpark's open.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Sidebar, I read an article about the A's just real quick. I read an article. They're like, oh, they're trying to figure out where to play, and they got this minor league stadium in Vegas, but it only seats 14,000 people. I said, great. It'll be the first time Oakland's been sold out in 20 years. Let it happen. Let it. If
at least it'll look great.
If nothing for the optics, it's going to look fantastic.
Sold out again.
Have it at the Field of Dreams Stadium. No one's
There you
going
go.
there anyway. It's in the middle of nowhere. So at least you
2,000
can say,
people.
oh, we're doing this for the tradition of baseball. We want a team here.
They might break the record for the most sold out stadium games with the whole season. They're just going to be sold out. We sold out 3,000 tickets again, people.
The A's could play an entire season at the Field of Dreams Stadium, and they could and they would still not break the viewing record from the White Sox Yankees game 3 years ago. They still, I mean, it would the whole season. The whole season they could play. They could play 162 games in that stadium, and it still wouldn't break the record. The amount of people who watch the Yankees White Sox
Overall. But going back to the Chargers, you know what? Something that's making me really happy, and this is like my hate for the Eagles. I'm going to tie in the Chargers to the Eagles with who? Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is out from the Chargers, and he is on his way to Philadelphia to most likely be their offensive coordinator. Kellen Moore is trash. And nothing as a Cowboys fan makes me happier to like, yes, pay him, keep him, give him a 10-year contract. Whenever you guys fire Nick Sirianni, make him your head coach. He's great for Cowboys wearing an Eagles uniform. It's going to make me so happy next year.
For Kellen Moore to be a revelation to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is league MVP
They'll be
for the next 6 years.
I don't know what it is. He took the Cowboys offense and had them top 3 in offense, right? He goes to the Chargers. They're like the worst offense in the league. What the hell happened to him?
Nothing. He was always Kellen Moore. I don't. That's you're jumping off the assumption that Kellen Moore was some brilliant mind in the first place.
Well, he looked good with the Cowboys, but I think I'll just give that credit to Dak. He just made
because he never
Moore
changed
look
the
good.
jersey. He was with the Cowboys forever. All he did was switch a jersey for a helmet for a headset. That's all he did.
Yeah,
he's still rocking his jersey on the sideline.
That guy is like what? I think I might be like 2 years younger than him, and he went from a backup quarterback to being a coordinator. I'm not ageist by any means, but I do think you need a little bit more experience than that to be able to be a good coordinator.
Well, let's go. So you got the Titans with Callahan's line. Yeah. Tommy.
I think that'll be good.
Big Tam. It was, Big Tom Callahan's nephew, coming from Sandusky, Ohio, and then I gotta say, the Patriots, how ironic is it? A man with a last name Mayo hating on white people. That just seems ironic to me. It's like slam poetry almost. Yeah.
Are you talking about his comment about not seeing color?
Oh my goodness. If I'm a player on the Patriots, I'm like, oh, bring Bill back. Bring it back. I mean, at least we kept everything on the
Nobody
field.
wants Bill. Nobody wants Bill. Did you see that? Nobody wants
I
him.
did. Well, I saw an article that I think Arthur Blank really wanted him, but the front office did not want him, which, I mean, ding, 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 makes sense because your front office is going to be almost null and void. If your owner hires the guy that your front office doesn't want, who do you think the owner is going to listen to? He's going to listen to the really hot girl that he just brought into the home. Yeah.
Well, they also probably knew that if they hired him, the front office was on their way out because Bill Belichick doesn't operate a team as just a coach.
Yeah.
I just think he's old school. From what I kept seeing, I don't think he had been interviewed with anybody else. I think people realizing like he has an old school way of running things, and
He does.
we have 21-year-olds in the league. You think they want to be treated like Bill Belichick treats some of his players? Not that he's like some like
I know
he's like
winning
disrespectful.
sucks.
He's just
Winning's awful. If there's one thing I hate more in this life, it's winning. It's championships.
Some of the players that are in the NFL weren't even conscious enough. Some of the players in the NFL right now are probably weren't even conscious the last time Bill Belichick was actually winning.
Yeah, well, you got Raiders retaining AP. Makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
We were just
when the only two people that you interviewed were two black coordinators. Yeah, I mean you're just okay. Yeah, okay. Well, okay, Rooney, we did it. We satisfied your rule. You're going to bring back the guy that we wanted in the first place.
I think they were trying to be a little cute with it though, until the players like, you know what? If you don't get him, I'm leaving.
Yeah, he was always going to stay. He was always going to stay. Mark Davis made no attempt to even reach out to anyone of any real seriousness in this head coaching cycle. He made no attempt. He knew who he wanted. He's like, I'll play the game, and then here you go. We got our.
I do feel bad for him though. I feel bad for AP. You look at the coaches that are in that division right now. He is going to get slaughtered in that division, and they might win games outside of the division. Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, your boy Sean Payton, and him. Oh,
I don't know. I'm not sold on Sean Payton with Denver yet until they get a quarterback.
Well, that'll happen this year.
I'm not sold on it. We'll see what happens with that. And then the Commanders, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're waiting on.
Apparently, they're waiting on the Lions to start sucking so they can take their coordinator. Which I mean, the Lions' offense they're good. I don't see, what's his name? Brian Johnson? Is that the coordinator for the Lions?
Yeah.
Oh, Ben Johnson. Brian Johnson's the guy that was with the
if the
Eagles.
Commanders wait for the Lions, they're going to wait till February 12th, the day after they lose the Super Bowl. Okay,
it's quite the take.
They're waiting. They're waiting a long time. Leave
it to the commies to take forever to make anything that makes sense. Just like selling the team, just like doing everything else in their franchise's history. It just take forever to make an average decision that everybody else would have made 3 months ago.
Maybe Bob Myers is out there saying, "Hey, the Bucs just fired a 30 game winning head coach in the middle of the season. Let's go get Adrian Griffin to coach football. Let's do it. You brought me in here, Josh.
He knows how to win.
Yeah, he 30 and 13.
How to win.
He's great. Let's bring him in.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
That is just
the Bucs firing that guy. Oh, I feel bad. What? Oh God! Like there must have been some cultural stuff
because they want Doc Rivers. That's why.
Who wants Doc Rivers? Who wants Doc Rivers?
Milwaukee does because apparently they don't even have cable TV or the internet out there. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers. I mean, he can get you so far. I think we've all seen his plateau. He's gonna choke in.
Yeah.
Don't make him play more than 4 games in the series.
Of course he's gonna choke. Yeah. You got the we'll just save that for later. But it's so stupid.
We get so passionate so fast we get off track.
But let's look at the Falcons with their diversity hire. I mean, defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, who wasn't good enough.
I like that.
Who wasn't good enough to take over the team before they hired FedEx Jr. But now that FedEx is out the door, hey, hey, Raheem, why don't you come back here? Why don't you come back and do this again? And I get it. Look, no disrespect to Raheem. I mean, the Rams won the Super Bowl in 21. The first year he was defensive coordinator, the Rams had a pretty decent defense with all those young guys on there this season.
Yeah, they look good.
They did. They did look good. But some guys are just coordinators. They just are.
I don't know.
And I don't know. I mean, the last time Raheem had a legit shot was with Tampa Bay 14 years ago when he was 33. I think at that point he was the youngest head coach in NFL history at that point. And maybe he's learned some stuff. Maybe he has. I don't know. But I just find it very interesting.
Anybody that gets to even sniff Sean McVay's farts gets ages and ages of wisdom. I think he's set up for success. Hanging out with McVay is going to be like the best thing that could have happened to him.
Maybe, and we'll see. We will see. But it wasn't the defense that was the issue this season. It was the offense. And so if he's going to go out there, if he's going to be a head coach at Atlanta, he's going to have to get a banging OC.
There's a lot of good offensive coordinators out there.
Yeah, Kellen Moore's out there. Yeah, you love him. Yeah.
I
would love Kellen Moore to be the OC for Atlanta. Mike, hire Kellen Moore. Yes.
Pay the man.
Pay him. Pay him. Yeah.
This is coming. Disclaimer: this is coming from a Saints fan.
The Panthers, and you texted me this earlier. Who's this man? I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you a player stats, just player 1, player 2, from this year and last year. Okay, and I want you to and I just want you to listen. Player 1 for this year. 4,044 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks. Player 2.
Wait, 4? Okay.
Yeah. Player 2, 3,624 yards, 20 TDs, 9 picks. Okay, that was this year. Okay. Who do you think player 1 is?
I know who player 1 is because I keep up with stats. Player 1 is Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the 4,044 yards just sits in my brain.
Who was Baker's OC this year?
Oh, well, that was him. I know that was him.
Dave Canoli.
I know that was him.
Yeah.
I know.
Player 2 was Geno Smith. Now, going back the year before that, when old Dave Canoli's was up in Seattle, Geno Smith was 42-82, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks. Baker, year before Canoli's gets there, 21-63, 10 TDs, 8 picks across 2 teams.
Oh, give the man some credit. He jumped around with, what was he, with the Panthers last year, and then with the Rams. He probably got all those stats in one game.
This is not me slamming Baker. This is me looking at the stats here. In the year after Canales leaves Geno has subpar numbers. And Baker's got almost identical numbers as Geno did the year before.
But they're not hiring him as a quarterback coach. They're hiring him as a coordinator. I'm guessing he's
the head coach.
He needs to do something more than just coach the quarterback.
My point is, you have Bryce Young in Carolina. And I've already said it. I'm probably in the minority here who believes Bryce Young could be something special.
I agree with you.
Bryce Young's numbers 28-77, 11 touchdowns, 10 picks.
Yeah, that was awful.
That line was career year numbers for both Baker and Geno before Dave Canales entered their life. So I honestly believe this is a really good hire
for the quarterback. Yeah, I agreed with you. I said it's going to be great for the quarterback, but you have to do more as a head coach than just coach the quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
It starts with the quarterback. It always starts with the quarterback. It starts with the quarterback.
I agree. Well, here's another thing. Are they even going to give the man longer than 8 games before they fire him, or are they just going to keep firing coaches midseason and just keep trying again?
What David Tepper's going to do, okay?
I have a feeling.
He's probably got water bottles labeled for each home game so he can just throw at a fan every time he goes out on the field.
He's
I don't know
human
what
too.
this,
Don't you hold that against him.
I don't know what this man's gonna do. All I know is he hates plastic and he hates fans. That's all I know. Okay,
And water.
maybe. I mean, who knows? Maybe he drank the water. I don't know. Maybe it was full of Zen packets that he was done using, and he just chucked
Get
it
this
at the
water away
fan.
from me. I
Ah!
ordered tequila.
Tired of these wintergreen Zens. Ah! No, I honestly think Dave Canales is going to be a sneaky good hire for Carolina. I think he's going to
We'll
be.
see.
Yeah, we will see.
We'll
We
wait to
will.
see. We'll wait to see. I'm happier with Callahan as a hire for the Titans than I am with Cannoli for the Panthers. I just that what the Cincinnati was doing with what's his name, their backup, I'm blanking on his name,
Jake Browning?
them being as yeah, Jake Browning,
Yeah.
what they were doing being competitive with Jake Browning being the freaking quarterback, that has more to do with the coaching than Browning being a great quarterback.
Well, for sure. Yeah.
So
Just like Dave Canales. No one's going to tell me and sit there and say, yeah, I've been waiting 10 years for Geno to break out. Yeah. No.
we just knew he needed the right system.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Geno was all world in 2022. We couldn't stop talking about Geno. Like he was some
He
revelation.
made the man a lot of money.
We forgot he'd been in the league for a decade. So were you surprised with any non-fires?
I mean, besides the obvious Cowboys one that breaks my heart. I mean, the Eagles one is just blowing my mind even right now as I
What the
think
hell's
about it.
going on there?
What are they
What's Jeffrey
doing?
Lurie doing there? What is this cat and mouse game? All right, Nick, come in the office. We got to make some changes. All right, I got to change for you. I'm gonna fire defensive coordinator. Okay. 2 days later. Okay, I'm gonna fire the offensive coordinator too. Okay. Yeah, because that was the problem. Yeah. It wasn't you. It wasn't you, Nicholas.
That you know how you know that I know that they know that Nick is a problem just by the press conference that he had. Did you watch that or at least see clips of that press conference
I have
when
not
the
seen
report
it.
there was a
No.
reporter that asked him, okay, your offensive coordinator is going to call the offensive plays. Your defensive coordinator is going to call the defensive plays. What's your role? And he goes,
Yeah.
well, I'm the head coach. I'm not just going to be the head coach of the offense or the head coach of the defense or the special teams. I'm the head coach of the team. If I want to, sometimes I'll sit in on some defensive meetings. I'm like, what are you saying?
What would you say you actually do here?
Yeah.
Yeah, if Nicholas Sirianni does not win a playoff game next season, he's fired.
A playoff? You're giving him a whole lot of credit.
No.
I think
No.
if they are worse,
he has to win a playoff game. He has to win one. They are in the NFC East. They are in the NFC period. Outside of the NFC West and maybe the NFC North. Maybe. It's a weak conference. It's weak sauce.
the North is pretty good now.
The NFC is so mid. It's so mid. If Philly can't find a way to win at least 10 games and get into the wild card round, if they don't make the playoffs, Nick Sirianni's fired the moment that they're mathematically eliminated. Hell, if they get to a point where they have to talk about are they mathematically still in, you fire him. You fire him then. If they make the playoffs and he doesn't win a playoff game, he's fired. Fire him.
I mean, unless they make the NFC Championship, I don't see him staying either. Like that, him and McCarthy, they're just gonna keep us entertained just to see which one is more of a dead man walking throughout the season. And I think Sirianni is more of a dead man walking than McCarthy is.
Yeah,
that guy doesn't. Even this year, I was like, okay, well, as they were talking about things, I'm like, well, what are you doing? And then he said something this year about how he's in charge of the culture. Nobody is in charge of the culture. By definition, you can't be in charge of culture. So I don't understand what he's doing.
If you have to say you're in charge of the culture, that's like saying I demand respect. That means you have none of it.
Yeah.
You are in charge of nothing, and you are garnering zero respect. If you have to say these things, then they don't exist. They just. I never heard Bill Belichick say, "Yeah, we're just I'm in charge of the culture here." No, I've never heard him say it. I've never heard him say more than 3 words at the press conference. So I've never heard him say more than 6 words a year. So I got no idea what Bill Belichick does. except win.
Moving on to the next game. That's all he ever says. I'm just focused on this next game. Insert team.
Yeah,
I'm just, but that's how you know that he knows he's dead,
oh yeah,
figuratively speaking.
yeah.
By him having to justify, if I was ahead, I've never even touched foot on a football field enough about coaching to be able to like speak to this. But if I was a head coach, the moment they asked me, "What is your role?" I'd be like, "I'm the head coach." Next question. Like he fed into it, and then the GM jumped
Yeah.
in and he tried defending him. Like that whole
Yeah.
culture that he's in charge
Yeah.
of is trash.
Absolutely,
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun. As a
Yeah.
as a Cowboys fan, I'm gonna love the Eagles season.
Surprises. I don't have any surprises in the playoffs except that the Lions won. That really wasn't a surprise. It was more educated guess. Am I surprised that they've gone this far? No, I'm not at all. Not even a little bit. But I will say I expect this. Kyle Shanahan, I'm talking to you if you're listening. Okay. I know you're an avid follower of Box Scores and Bourbon. I know you're waiting to hear what we have to say about your performance.
You want our
divisional
feedback.
Packers. Give Christian McCaffrey the ball. It is inexcusable that McCaffrey has less than 30 touches in the whole game entering the fourth quarter. Inexcusable. I get it. You want to put the team, you want to give old Trent Silverback Williams, you want to give him a ring before he retires. You respect the man. If you respect the man, you're not going to put the team on Brock Purdy's shoulders. You're just not going to do it. Don't do it. Give McCaffrey the ball. He is easily Mr. All-World. This dude does everything. Even if you have to, make him the quarterback. Run a wildcat the entire game.
Okay, they tried that last year. It did not work.
Christian McCaffrey is going to win the game for you. If they have any shot of beating Detroit, give McCaffrey the ball. Going into the fourth quarter, McCaffrey has to have at least 30 touches. Running, catching, doesn't matter. Passes, I don't care. I'm not even rooting for San Fran here. I'm not even rooting for him. But if you want to win, if you want any chance to beat Detroit is on a high. This team is a team of destiny right now. It's a team of destiny to lose to the Ravens. Okay? Give McCaffrey the ball. That's it. Give him the ball.
I mean, I can't disagree with you at all. I mean, McCaffrey, even if the box is stacked, whatever, like that man knows how to find some space and he'll hurdle, flip over some guys, juke them, break them. He is a beast. And if it wasn't that the MVP race is always just, a rigged scheme to see who the face of the NFL is going to be for a year, which is always a quarterback, it would be McCaffrey. For the last 2-3 years, he could have been MVP.
Yes. This is why you paid a king's ransom for him.
Yeah.
Because he's worth a king's ransom.
Yeah.
He's worth it.
Yeah. And also, just to add on to the fact that, Purdy looked like complete garbage last week. I heard some people saying he did what a great quarterback does. Even when you're losing the entire game and you're having the worst game of your life, you found a way to score at the end to win the game. No, first off, the Packers threw away that game. And second off, Purdy's catches were catches because those guys were tearing their ACLs trying to catch those balls, twisting and contorting.
That third down pass in the fourth quarter to keep the drive going, the third down pass that he threw to Brandon Ayuk. He had to tie his cleats and catch the football at the same time.
That was,
In the whole game. Was this Chris Collinsworth? It probably was because it was driving me nuts listening to his idiot voice. But Chris Collinsworth the whole time was like, Brock Purdy's just trying to throw it and dropping it. He's just not really getting it. No, he's not getting it because he's Brock Purdy. He's Brock Purdy. He's not Jordan Love. Hell, he's not even Dak Prescott. Okay?
Preach.
He's Brock Purdy. Okay? And that And that's not a testament to how good he is. That's a testament to how bad Trey Lance is. Trey Lance
Yeah.
couldn't even beat out Brock Purdy in a quarterback competition. And he's like, I would rather be a backup in Dallas and go through this insufferable madness of a circumstance of a football team.
You watch your words.
Kyle Shanahan, I will say it till I'm dead, which won't be until I'm 114 because I've manifested it. I've already manifested it.
That's fair.
Kyle Shanahan will always fall short in my eyes because he will always be the guy who allowed Tom Brady to come back from 28-3 and win 33-28. And then talk about failing upward. You blow a 25-point lead. I know you're the only offensive coordinator. You're calling the plays. Dan Quinn wasn't calling the offense. He was a defensive guy. Dan Quinn gave you the keys, Kyle Shanahan, and you blew it. You blew it. And that you fail upward, you go to San Fran, great. John Lynch constructs this team. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. Do not put the game on Brock Purdy's shoulders. Don't do it. Unless your goal is to just be mediocre and to just get to the doorstep of greatness and just be the flaming bag of poop. If that's your goal in life, put the game on Brock Purdy's shoulders. Put it on his shoulders. See what happens. You're going to lose. I already know it, but see what happens. If you don't believe me.
The Niners better be careful. If they manage to lose this game after all this talk that they had last year, if we had Purdy, we would have won that NFC Championship game. Woo! Just wait the narrative that comes out if they have their guy and they still lose that game against the Lions. First off, the entire country, besides the Bay Area, is going to be loving the Super Bowl. It might be the biggest Super Bowl as far as viewership ever.
I'm going to love the Super Bowl. Baltimore versus Detroit? It's going to be a great Super Bowl. I don't know why we're playing the championship game. I don't know why we're playing.
I had to do some reflecting because I was so salty that the Lions are doing better than the Cowboys. Because the Lions had been garbage, almost. Besides their records, the Cowboys and the Lions have been pretty much at the same pathway. And I was so salty that the Cowboys couldn't at least meet up with the Lions. But I've done some reflecting. I've grown from the last 2 weeks and getting embarrassed by the Packers. And I've realized that, you know what? I have nothing against the Lions. Or nothing against the Lions being the Niners. I hate the Niners more than I'm jealous of the Lions. So by all means, the Lions winning this game would make my life. Would make my year.
Yeah. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm praying for San Fran to lose this game. I'm praying for it. Yeah, it's been 30 years since the Cowboys went to the NFC Championship game. But how great would it be for a team that hasn't been in the NFC Championship game in 30 plus years because they beat the Niners? That's just, this is Dallas's Super Bowl, and it's going to be for every year because Dallas isn't going to make it this far. But Dallas's Super Bowl is going to be every playoff game that the Niners lose. That's Dallas's Super Bowl.
If the Cowboys aren't in it, every time I see the Niners lose, I'm happy. I don't have anything against that.
You don't have to worry about that. That's fine. Yeah, then I'm going to be. McCarthy's going to win 13 games. They're going to lose the wild card round. And McCarthy's going to get extended. That's what's going to happen.
That would not happen. First off, that would never happen. There's a reason that he doesn't have an extension right now. If Jerry Jones was as delusional and as senile as we all think he is, he would have signed him before the wild card game because he was so confident in his skills. But
we already know he's
so
senile because he didn't
that's
fire
just
McCarthy.
not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Jerry Jones has already proved the senility by retaining Mike McCarthy.
So you're not changing your picks. I'm guessing we're still riding with the Ravens winning it all.
I got Baltimore over the Kansas City Swifties, and I've got Detroit over San Fran, and I've got Baltimore over the Lions in the Super Bowl.
You know what? I want to take a second to address my revelation moment. What we were texting our picks right before the divisional round kicked off. And right before the game, I texted you and I called an audible and I said, I just have this feeling the Chiefs are winning this game.
You did say that. Yeah, you did. Yeah. And I forgot how much the NFL wants the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I forgot about that.
Well, you can't. Are you going to start saying that the refs are somehow trying to make the Chiefs get to the Super Bowl because I will not have that talk here. Not in this house.
Roger Goodell is trying to make up for that stupid Peacock fiasco. And so now he's sitting there saying, "Ooh, we can garner even more followers to the NFL the longer Taylor Swift is in the playoffs."
That
Because
is
it ain't
true.
because Travis
It
Kelce's
is.
catching footballs. That dude ain't catching nothing but flack. And I don't know, maybe some syphilis. Have you seen the list of guys that Taylor's been with? I don't know.
Oh
But
God,
Taylor, I mean,
JB.
Travis Kelce, he ain't catching footballs. I know that's for sure. I know we're watching the same games. He caught one pass for a touchdown, I believe it was. And
Yeah.
he was just like, yeah. I'm like, great. It's your first catch in 5 weeks. Yeah. Congratulations, Travis. Yeah, Mahomes made you relevant again.
Watch the NFL try having Taylor Swift as a halftime show next year for the Super Bowl. How surprised would you be?
Watch Roger Goodell make it to where Kansas City's in the Super Bowl, and then Usher all of a sudden has like laryngitis or something, and Taylor Swift is just, oh, I'm here, I can do it.
I'll see.
Yeah, I'll sing. Yeah, it's fine. It's perfect.
No, Taylor Swift only has good music when she breaks up, so that would require Kelsey to break up with her so that she's heartbroken and can sing.
No man has ever broken up with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's broken up with every man, and then she blames the
Well,
man.
whatever.
And then she sells a platinum record or whatever the hell. I don't listen to her anymore.
She needs to go through the breakup portion to have good music. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well. Anyway,
Enough
before I get to a Taylor Swift rant, we need to move
I was
on.
gonna say we need to move on because my blood pressure. I can feel it going up.
College football, Kalen DeBoer going to
Yeah.
Bama. Not a bad hire.
No,
It wasn't enough to really stop the transfer portal bleeding, or
that's a little painful.
the venal slash that Alabama experienced. I think it's over now, only because the 30-day window is up.
Yeah,
but
there's just a second round of it, but I think they're okay for now. But they lost 10 players.
They did. They lost a bunch of players. Yeah, and they lost people after DeBoer was hired. Like they lost him after he was hired.
The disrespect for him.
I don't know. As an LSU fan, this couldn't happen to a better team. This couldn't happen to a better fan base.
Did you see that? Did you see that 3 of the 4 coaches that were in the playoff are actually somewhere else this year besides the Texas coach? You know who that's a good sign for? Good old Georgia. Georgia's over there sitting in the corner, just yes.
Georgia's gonna be just fine.
They're gonna be
just fine.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're licking their chops right now. Yes, cause all the turmoil. Everybody move around. Everybody big names. Blah blah blah. We have our number one. We got screwed over, and we'll be back.
Georgia's like 12-team playoff. That's fine. That's just more practice games for us. That's all it is. It's just more scrimmages to get to the national championship. That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then Jed Fish going to Washington to fill Kalen DeBoer's position. Jed Fish.
What a way to try stopping the bleeding.
I mean, the job Jed Fish did at Arizona this year was not. I mean, remarkable is not the word. Yeah, he took this team from complete just a decade of obscurity. They won 8-9 games this year. I mean, and he out of what? Who's playing for the University of Arizona? I don't even know who's playing there. And
the basketball team.
Yeah, basketball's playing there. Yeah.
No, I'm saying the basketball players. They just take turns.
The baseball team. Yeah. No. Now he's going to Washington. He's going to have oodles of money, oodles of resources. There is a plethora of more talent up there in Washington than there was in Arizona, and I just what I hope doesn't happen is that he abandons what he did in Arizona, and he just gets comfortable. I hope he doesn't become Channing Tatum and Foxcatcher, where Michael Scott hires him to go to his little mansion, and then he just stuffs himself with Twinkies because, oh, look at this, I have a pantry, and I have food inside the pantry? Wow, I didn't have food in my pantry in Arizona. I got it now. I hope he doesn't get complacent. I really hope he does not, because it was I'm a Southern boy through and through. It was a delight for me to see Washington in the college football conversation again. I grew up with them as a child. I grew up watching them in the conversation every single year. So it was nice to see them in it, and I hope it continues. And honestly, I mean, Washington could have went out and got almost anyone, but they went out and
Probably.
they got a guy who did wonderful things in Arizona, with almost nothing, and then call him up, see what he can do with almost an endless amount of resources. I
But
think it's going to be a good hire.
at the same time, how much do you think Washington is regretting making the jump to the SEC this year? Like that's just like, oh, they
Washington
need
going
at least.
to the Big Ten?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, the Big Ten. I don't know why I said SEC. That's
I,
just they're
I
gonna
don't
be
think
at
they're
the
afraid
bottom
yet.
of that. I
I don't think
I
they're
I
afraid
just
yet.
I think they are.
Michigan's in transition. Yeah, I know Sharon Moore went 6-0 as the proxy coach on the sideline. I don't know what's going on in Ohio State. Ryan Day can't even win himself out of a wet paper bag.
That
Like
is true.
I mean, and then what other teams are we talking about in the Big Ten that are going to pose a threat to Washington? None. Maybe Oregon because they're going there. I don't know, but I mean, honestly, like they're in a great position. They're in
I
a
don't think
great
so.
position.
I
I
don't think so. It goes to
I
show. I mean, Michigan. If you think Michigan was going to be at the level that you're saying they are, we would have already seen all the transfer portal players leaving, or at
look.
least rumors of it happening.
Next episode, we're going to do a college football, and we're going to go through the schedule of certain teams, and we're going to go an over and under on these wins and losses for them. But as I'm sitting here right now, not even having looked at the schedule, I'm looking at the landscape of the Big Ten. I don't see what hurdles they have. I just don't. Are they going to win the Big Ten? Probably not. But are they going to be
No,
good
they're
enough
not.
to parlay their ranking for this year into winning consistently enough next year to be in the talk for the 12-team playoff? Absolutely. Absolutely. Washington's going to be in the playoff next year, and then we'll see what they do there.
Oh yeah,
We'll
only
see what
because
they
the
do
playoff
there.
is growing to 12, not because
That's
of their
not
skill
look.
level.
It's not like they were crying for it. I mean, they're playing the hand that they're dealt. They
They're
get
just
a
lucky,
12-team
is all
playoff.
I'm saying.
Why
They're
not?
lucky. They're not. They would never make it in a 14 playoff. They're just lucky that everything's happening. That the dominoes are falling how they are this year.
You don't hear Dodger fans sitting there and be like, "Oh man, if only there wasn't an asterisk next to that World Series win we have, because we only
Everybody else
played a
says
week's
it.
worth of games."
Everybody, Dodgers fans, we all say it. Everybody else says it.
We all know it. Okay, we're just gonna say it. What you're not gonna say out loud. Yeah.
Yes,
Speaking of
exactly.
baseball, the Hall of Fame got no problem with who was inducted. None.
No,
Adrian
this is
Beltre.
the part where these are like your generation of players. Not that I'm talking anything about your age, but this is all you. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you
No,
the center stage.
Adrian Beltre was so fun to watch. I've there are very few players when I was growing up that I loved watching more than Adrian Beltre. He was so fun at third. He was this dude was the most entertaining thing on the on deck circle. I mean, he was there for it. He was there to have fun. He played ball. He played ball the right way. I've got no problem with it. I got a problem with the people, with the writers who didn't vote him on their ballot. Who are you? Who hurt you? Where you're not, where you're voting? Who's on the ballot that's taking up a spot for Adrian Beltre? What? Omar Vizquel? Like who's the player that you had to sit there and deliberate over? Who was the 10th and final player that you sit there and say Adrian Beltre or Jimmy Rollins? What? What do we? Adrian Beltre is the first person you mark on your ballot. The first one. The end. End of discussion. I love that he's in the Hall. It's fantastic for baseball. This dude was a joy to watch. He was a joy to watch even in his last season. And then you have Todd Helton, who I loved watching. I watched Todd Helton play college football at Tennessee. He was the punter for Tennessee. And then he's the first baseman for the Rockies for his entire career. This dude was Mr. Rocky. I know everyone was like, oh, it's Larry Walker, Larry Walker. Larry Walker was an expansion pick. Todd Helton was there the entire time. He was Mr. Consistency for Colorado for 17 years. And even in his worst seasons, they were still 50. He was still 50 times better than half the players in Major League Baseball. Todd Helton making it to Hall of Fame makes sense. All this talk about him just being a course hitter is foolish. All it takes is 2 minutes to look up his stats away from Coors Field, and he was still a well above average hitter away from that no atmospheric wasteland that we call Denver, Colorado. And then who was the last one? Joe Mauer. I have no problem Joe Mauer making it. Joe Mauer, to me, as a Cubs fan, will always stand in infamy because the Twins decided to take him instead of Mark Pryor. So at least we had 3 years of a really good pitcher making it to the playoffs. The Twins had a whole career, Joe Mauer, and did almost nothing with it. But Joe Mauer, it wasn't Joe Mauer's fault. Joe Mauer's a good player. And I hear all this talk about what's this do with Buster Posey? Buster Posey is a Hall of Famer. What are we talking about here? Why is this a question? If we're going to look at Joe Mauer's career and sit there and say, yeah, that dude embodied the Twins. Okay, name the player who embodied the 3 Giants World Series championships more than Buster Posey did. Tim Lincecum? Madison Bumgarner? Okay. But Buster Posey was the captain of that team. And that is not even up for debate. He is the catcher. He was the heart and soul of that team. He was the pulse of that team. I've got no problem. My only problem was the one player who didn't make it, and that was Billy Wagner. What the hell? What the hell are we doing? This dude he learned how to throw with his left arm because he broke his right arm not once, but twice when he was 7 years old. My son was already throwing a baseball by the time he was 3. That is a huge task to teach a kid how to throw a baseball with a completely opposite arm. And this dude was throwing straight cheddar his entire career. You can sit there and talk about the Astros going to the World Series. Yeah, they didn't win it in 2005 when they played the White Sox. That White Sox rotation, no one was going to beat them. No one. But you talk about the Astros, you can go through Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio, Ken Caminiti, Derek. I can't remember his name right now. But you always talked about Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner was coming in the game. You knew it was over. You knew it was over. He was a white man's like Mariano. Like you knew the game was over. Billy Wagner coming in, lights out. That's it. And I think the only thing that hurt Billy Wagner is because of the fact that he didn't stay with Houston. Houston didn't renew his contract. He didn't resign. I can't remember what the deal was there. But he ended his career with Philly. It wasn't bad with Philly. He wasn't nowhere near dominant as he was with Houston. But to get to just under 74%, you need 75% to make the Hall of Fame. To get just under 74% and to be that close to the doorstep, I hope this isn't like a reverse curse where he gets so close and then now all of the momentum just drains. Because I haven't looked at the next 5 Hall of Fame ballots, but I know next year Ichiro's on it. I forget who else is on it. It's going to be stacked for the next 5 years, and I hope Billy Wagner doesn't get lost.
Start falling down.
I hope he doesn't. That dude belongs in the Hall. He belongs in the Hall of Fame. He just does.
What about the other players that haven't made it or that didn't make it this year? Let's talk about something that I think we can both agree on. Mm-hmm. And this is, I was going through the non-inductees, and my good old pal Alex Rodriguez was on the list, and he's not even
Mm-hmm.
getting close to enough
No,
of the votes to make it. What
he's
the
not.
hell?
He's not. No.
Because of what is that about? I understand he quote unquote cheated, but every player cheats.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
second, if you cheat and you get caught, you pay whatever it is, your suspension, you whatever,
Mhm.
you pay your dues, and then you're supposed to be able to like move on with your life. What are we holding this against people years after the fact, after they've already suffered the consequences once? So we punish them for the rest of life. What are you gonna do? Throw him out at sea? Don't even give him a proper burial because he used PEDs when he was playing? Like, when do you
Mhm.
let go of this like issue with the PED thing? And it's not just
Yeah.
him, but it's just the one that he's suffering the consequences this year. But it is such an annoying thing for me. I don't know. I think you can agree with me on that.
I can. Yeah. I, I have such a problem with this PED discussion, and I have not experienced. There's a few things I've experienced a transformation on the past few years. That is being a big tipper. I don't I don't do that anymore. If you're going to sit there and say answer, I'm not going to tip you because you didn't do anything. Um, and then also the whole PED discussion. If you'd asked me 3 years ago, I'd have said no. Those cheaters don't deserve to be in it. But the more I've reflected, the more I've done some inner searching of my own self and as a baseball fan, there are three reasons why I am now for the PED, uh, uh, gang to be inducted into Hall of Fame. Number one, PEDs are a part of baseball. That's it. Okay, that's point number one. It happened. It was a point in time where where people were hitting just absolute dingers. They were
Yeah.
hitting bombs, and it was awesome to see. As a child, I loved it. My favorite commercial still to this day is Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, chicks did the long ball, and they're taking batting practice, hitting home runs, getting the girls. Chicks dig the long ball, and this did not start until the era of the PED. In the era of the PED, I like the the penultimate year of this was 1998. When you have
Yep.
the summer of slam, when you have Mark McGuire slamming Sammy
Yep.
Sosa, going toe to toe, everybody was glued to the TV every single year. And this is my second point. ESPN, every single year, there seems to be some sort of special about the summer of 98. They are still making money hand over fist over this summer, where you had these two prolific power hitters just crush the crap out of the ball and see how far it went and see how many they could hit. Let me ask you this question. Are there any asterisks next to these records? Can I go to any record book ever and see an asterisk next to these books? I bet you I go to Cooperstown, those home run balls are still there. The
Yep.
home run balls, the product of them hitting these balls are still in Cooperstown, but they're not. There's no asterisk next to Barry Bonds' 756 home runs. There's no asterisk next to Barry Bonds' 73 home runs in a season. There was no asterisk next to McGuire when he did it. There's no asterisk next to Sammy Sosa when he did it. There's no asterisk next to Rafael Palmeiro's 3,000 hit 500 homer career. No asterisk whatsoever. Which brings me to point number three. You want to blame the players? That's fine. You're wrong, but okay. And here's how you're wrong. The commissioner for Major League Baseball for nearly 15 years was Bud Selig. Bud Selig inherited a sport that was in such dire straits. No one wanted to watch it. The players didn't want to play it. The owners didn't want to pay the players to play it. This league was floundering. I mean, the OJ chase got more coverage during a Royals game than I'm just like they cut off the game to go watch a man drive a Bronco. Like, this is how much
At the speed limit.
People did not want to watch baseball. That's how much they didn't want to watch it. Bud Selig allowed this to happen. He allowed it. Case in point, Rafael Palmeiro at Camden Yards hits his 3,000th hit. Everyone's glued to the TV. We're losing our minds. Albeit at the same time, we've been told that he's using performance-enhancing drugs. And oh, by the by, 2 months earlier, he failed a test. Do you know what discipline came upon him? Nothing. Bud Selig allowed nothing to happen to this man. He let him go out into Camden, get his 3,000th hit, let us celebrate him, let him retire, and then drag him to court. And then try to get him under perjury for using steroids. You want to blame the players? That's fine. Again, you're wrong. You want someone to blame for this? You blame Bud Selig. The only reason Bud Selig doesn't get nearly as much blame for this as he should is because he did so much for the game of baseball during that time. Expansion team after expansion. I think there are 4 expansion teams. 4. There was the Marlins, the Rockies, the Diamondbacks, and the Rays. 4 expansion teams under his watch. 4. He did interdivision play where you would play more in your own division than you would outside. He did interleague play. He did he tried to revamp the All-Star game. Albeit it was stupid what he tried to do. It was dumb, but he did everything he could to let fans in. But the one thing he did the most was he allowed the players to shoot up. He allowed it to happen and did not a dang thing about it, except throw cameras on these men every single time they hit prolific homer after prolific homer after prolific homer. So, short answer, yes, let them in. Are you going to take Frank Baker's home runs away from 1911 because it was a dead ball error? And because even before that, they said, all right, the hitter gets to have the ball wherever he wants it. Are you going to, if the hitter wants the ball right in the middle of the plate, then you got to throw it in the middle of the plate. You're going to take away those stats? You can take away those stats because you had a home run derby every day for these players? No, you're not. And I'm sick and tired. I am sick and tired of hearing about the character clause of the people in the Hall of Fame. You have people in the Hall of Fame right now who were ardent racists. Back when it was like legitimate, they were legit racists. They beat their wives. They were just straight alcoholics. And they are all in the Hall of Fame. Every single one of them. So until you come up with a better reason, then it's the character clause. It's for the good of the game. Well then, you know what? No one belongs in the Hall of Fame. No one does. Because no one's character is 100%. The only person who belongs in the Hall of Fame, I guess, is Mike Trout, because the only thing he gets wrong is the weather when he's predicting it. That's it. But for now,
same with the Angels.
I am sick and tired of this talk about PEDs don't belong in there, but nothing is done. And there's nothing that can be done. We've already moved past it. We've moved past it. We've implemented these drug tests. We know what these players are doing. We are suspending these players to no win. We're suspending these players before they even found guilty now of anything. So there's nothing you can do about it. Let the men in, except maybe A-Rod, because he is a huge prick.
Well, hey, that is my guy right there. A-Rod has cleared his name. He is the man of the people now. He's a great TV personality. If anything, the character should be at least a wash for how good he is on TV. That man knows how to put on a show. He is, first off,
He
he's a
does.
good-looking man. I bet you he is giving all those pre-game and post-game shows way more viewers just because of his good looks. And he knows how to talk baseball. There's no better people. I get so tired of the freaking commentators that, oh well, I've been analyzing baseball for 30 years. No. A-Rod has gone through the game. He knows what he's seeing. He knows how to talk to it. As far as character-wise, I think his commentator character and his characteristics should give him more credit than the damn suspensions for his PD or illegal substance abuse, whatever the hell you want to call it. So I will not sit here and allow you to talk any shade towards my boy A-Rod.
Oh, look, I love A-Rod, the commentator. I do.
It's like you love
And
Romo, the
honestly,
commentator.
Romo's kind of getting on my nerves now. But
What?
but A-Rod is he is fun to listen to when it comes a playoff baseball. I love listening to him. I mean, nothing beats John Smoltz talking about baseball. But A-Rod is. Baseball, and this is another thing. Baseball wants A-Rod so badly not to be in the Hall of Fame that what do? Oh yeah, they try to do the Manning cast in baseball, and who do they add? They add A-Rod. A-Rod to the baseball Manning cast to sit there and do Sunday Night Baseball with A-Rod there. If you don't want the man around the sport, then stop having him around the sport. I don't
That's what I'm
understand
saying.
what this is. It's
They love
so
the man.
stupid. It's
They love
so
him.
stupid. So dumb.
They love the man. They just, the Hall of Fame. Out of all the leagues that have Hall of Fames, basketball does their own thing because they count all the college and NBA. They just have a basketball Hall of Fame. But NFL does it real right. They don't care about all this other stuff. If you're a good player, you're a good player. They don't hold anything
You
against you.
murdered under 3 people in your career. Congratulations. You're in.
3 or less, plus or minus
Yeah.
2.5.
You murdered under 3 people. If it's under, your first ballot.
I love just sitting back and letting you rant. I knew that once the baseball topic came up and Hall of Fame was in the discussion that you were just you took off your hat. You were going at it. I think I saw a blood vessel. I saw a little. I get a little blood vessel on my forehead when I get stressed out. I saw a little something popping up on yours too. It was just I could tell that you were passionate about this stuff. That's why I knew it'd be a good little center stage soap opera to let you have. But on that note, I have a little game for you since you just went on for however long talking about dingers and all these great players. I have a little trivia test for you.
Oh, good Lord, I'm gonna fail this. Yeah, go ahead.
I won't hold any strikes against you. I won't hold any 3 strikes and you're out. I just want you to tell me the top 10 active players that have the most home runs. So current players leading the league in home runs.
Active players leading the league in home runs right now. Okay.
Yes.
In no particular order.
No particular order.
Mike Trout's got to be on that list.
Yep, he's number 2.
Miguel Cabrera, because he hasn't retired yet.
Yeah, he's not on the list.
Oh, he hasn't retired yet. Wait, did he retire? I don't know if he retired.
I think he retired. No, he did retire. He retired with the Lions. They were giving him his whole fair. I'm pretty sure he retired.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Mike Trout.
That's an easy one.
JD Martinez. Is he on this list?
No, he's not.
Let's see. I'm going through each team right now in my head to see who has what. Who is it? This is a stumper.
Come on, Labar. You want some of the stats for some of the players? So the number 1 guy, he's played 1,535 games.
Okay. I figured you're going to have to. The number 1 guy's played over 1,000 games. He's leading. He's the active leader in home runs.
They all played over 1,000 games. If that makes it any harder for you.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
In a way, you can't get.
No one's going to play 500 games, get 500 homers. Let's see.
The number one guy, if I bring up his name, you will probably could go on a rant about him for a while. So, for not a good reason either. So just keep that in mind. Number one guy.
Is it Aaron Judge?
He's 11th.
Aaron
Judge
Judge
is
okay.
11th. Yeah.
Okay, so I got Mike Trout.
That's all you got right now, dude? Come on.
That's all I
There's
got.
some big names. There's some big names on here. Some of them are my boys.
I told you my 38-year-old brain's going to flake on this. Okay, I'm going through each team right now. I got no, not him. See JD Martinez.
Take a sip of your whiskey. You need to like refresh your.
JD Martinez isn't on there. Is it Nelson Cruz? Is Nelson Cruz on this list?
He's not on there.
He didn't retire. He's got to be on this list.
I don't. You can put your little asterisk on it. He's not on the list, dude.
This is asinine. This list is erroneous on all accounts. It's not Shohei. It can't be Shohei. He hasn't played long.
Shohei's only been in the league for like 5-6 years.
Is it Freddie Freeman? Is Freddie Freeman on this list?
He is on the list.
Okay, all right. Freddie Freeman's on this list.
He's fifth. Just so he's midpoint to help you out.
Okay.
Freddie Freeman has played 1,885 games. He has 321 home runs right now, and he's middle of the pack.
I'm trying to think. Who is this? Who? Nelson Cruz isn't on the list. Miggy's not on the list. I'm sure they haven't retired yet. JD Martinez isn't on the list. That's crazy
He's
talk.
not on the list.
Is it Jeff Bagwell?
He's not on the list.
No. Let's see. It's Frank Thomas. Who? Dude, you are stumping me here.
Give me the top 5, LeBark. I feel like I know the bottom half better than the top half. The top 5. Do I need to reset your brain? I'll give you the number 1.
Give me the number 1. Who's number 1 on this list?
Giancarlo.
Oh, I forget he even plays the game. Okay.
Well, he plays like 30 games a season, but he still hits dingers.
Okay. Giancarlo's number 1. Okay.
Yeah. 402 home runs.
Okay, and then because Mike Trout, I think, has 368 homers or something like that.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's 1 and 2.
Mike Trout. Okay, so you got Mike Stanton. You got Mike Trout. This is rough. Just give it to me. We're gonna be here forever. Who?
Really? You're giving up?
Give me 3.
There's another guy on here that is a Yankee right now.
There's another Yankee on there?
Yeah. And it's not Judge. He's 11th. I think he's still a Yankee this year.
Is it?
No, I'm not. No.
Okay. There's another Yankee on there. Is it Rizzo? It's Rizzo. Okay.
Rizzo with 295.
Okay. So Rizzo. I'm thinking Bryce Harper's on this list.
Yeah.
Bryce Harper has to be on this list. Okay.
He is 306. So now you're getting there.
Okay, so Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, Anthony Rizzo. I was thinking Rizzo. I was like, I don't know if he didn't seem that prolific to me. He only hit like 20 homers.
You need to give these guys some respect behind their names. Think of just bombers and dingers. Come on.
I'm thinking Kyle Schwarber. But he's not in top 10. There's no way he is. No. Acuna hasn't played long enough to be on this list.
Nope, he's been suspended. No, that's not right. That's the wrong.
You have. Oh shoot! Who is it that I'm thinking? Oh dang it! Shoot! I'm spacing on his name right now.
Third guy on the list right now plays for St. Louis.
Oh, is it Paul Goldschmidt?
Yeah.
Okay. So is Nolan Arenado on this list?
He is. He's right
Okay.
after him. He's number 4. So you got top 5 right now. You
Okay.
got
All right.
Giancarlo, Mike, uh, Paul, Nolan Arenado, Freddie Freeman down.
Okay. All
You have the
right.
bottom half. These are still
Give
big
me.
names.
I know. I know there is. I'm just spacing on them. Give me 6 through 10. Give me them.
All right. So
Yeah.
number
Give
6,
me 'em.
Manny Machado.
Manny Machado. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. I
You
feel.
go to the Padres to
Oh.
go get lost in the shadows of the Dodgers. Apparently,
Oh man. Who's number 7?
the next one I'm very disappointed with you that you didn't guess.
Who's
Your boy
this?
Bryce Harper. He's been in the league for
I guessed
freaking
Bryce
ever.
Harper. I guessed him.
No, you didn't. I did
I
not hear
said
you.
Bryce Harper.
No, I think you did. You did.
I
You did.
did.
You did. You did. You did.
Okay. Before
Yeah,
you
you
go
did.
any further, is Anthony Rendon on this list?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Keep going.
After Harper, it's
Wait. Hold on.
Andrew.
Is Christian Yelich on this list?
He's not. There's only
No.
2 guys left. There's only number 8 and number 10.
You said Andrew. Andrew Jones.
I did say Andrew. No.
Andrew who? I'm spacing.
McCutcheon.
Andrew McCutcheon?
Yeah.
Andrew McCutcheon's in top 10 right now?
He's about
He's
to
got
break.
like-
He's 299.
Wow. Well, he's been in for
Yeah.
like 18 years now, so
You need to
he's
get
probably
some
got the
Manson
most
list.
plate appearances on this entire list.
2007.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman is behind him by almost 300 games.
Who's number 10?
I'll give you the first name. Jose.
Jose Canseco.
No.
Jose Altuve.
That's charming as. No.
Jose
Altuve.
Abreu. Hey, if you're talking about postseason homers, he leads. Jose
No.
Abreu.
Yes, there you go.
Yes. All
That
right.
was a little painful for you there, LeBar.
Yeah,
I really
told
thought
you-
you were gonna.
Before we got on, you told me you had this, and I immediately knew I did not have this. I knew it.
So we have Giancarlo Stanton, Mike Trout, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Freddie Freeman, Manny Machado, Bryce Harper, Andrew McCutcheon, Anthony Rizzo, and Jose Abreu.
Okay.
So it's not bad. That's not a bad collection of people.
It's not. No, and the Dodgers have what, 6 of them? No.
Well, they will by next year. They'll just roll over their money and just get them all.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was good. Hey, and look, we
Yeah.
finished a shade under an hour and a half. Look at
Not
that.
bad.
Saved a half an
But if-
hour.
Yeah, but of course, as our final portion of the show, we got to talk about what we're drinking. What do you
What are you
got in your
drinking?
hands today?
What do you got?
What do you got
What
in
you
your
got?
hand? No, what do you got? What do you got?
I have this nice Aberfeldy. This is a 12-year a 12-year Scotch made from the makers of Dewar's. And I'm a big fan of Dewar's. And fun fact, Dewar's is owned by Bacardi.
Really?
Bacardi Rum owns Dewar's.
I did
Yeah.
not know that, and I just went to the Bacardi factory in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I think we both
Yeah.
went there just
We
recently.
did go there, yeah. Yeah.
I did
What
not,
you
and that's
drinking?
part of the. I am drinking Grandstone.
Ooh,
See
Grandstone.
that?
that a
Yes, it's
Scotch
good. It's a Scotch whiskey double barreled with a
Nice.
single malt Scotch whiskey double barreled. It's really freaking good. I look
Yeah.
for a whiskey that is not too bitter on that aftertaste. I hate when I feel like I can
Mhm.
blow fire after I take a sip of whiskey. This was kind of
Oh,
doing the job. It has a nice little not overwhelming where it takes away from the whiskey taste, but it has a good little vanilla aftertaste. If you just savor it, it's really good. It's really easy to drink. I'm a guy that likes drinking my drinks on the rocks primarily because I like them cold. And this one, I served myself a second glass neat, and it has been doing the job for me. It has been really
It's the
tasty.
only way to drink it, brother. It's the only way to drink it.
No, well, we can go over this again. It's not the only way to drink it. That's why there's such thing as on the rocks. But if a bourbon or a whiskey can sell me on drinking it neat, I am all for it because that just means on the rocks is that much better. So I'm all for this one. I was walking around trying to find something that I haven't tasted before, something out of the
Yeah.
general brands that kind of make all the ads, something unique. This one kind of does the job for me. I'm buying the small bottles just so I can
Yeah.
taste a little bit of everything, but it's doing the job quite well.
I
So I'm
usually stay
happy with
with
my purchase.
I usually stay with the fifths of bourbon or whiskey or scotch, whatever
I
it
bet you
is.
do. I
So
bet you do.
yeah. But yeah. Well, dude, good episode.
Yeah.
Before we head off, do you have any major sports predictions that'll happen
Sports predictions.
before we come back on in 2 weeks?
Major sports predictions. I mean, the
Or
Super Bowl is the only thing in my mind right now. But the moment the Super Bowl ends,
Mhm,
100% attention toward basketball. You won't be able to catch me slipping with any of the
mhm.
stats, any of the stuff
Yeah.
that's going on right now. Major predictions, I don't know. I mean, this weekend, I think the games are going to be really close,
Okay.
thankfully, considering 3 of the 4 games last week were kind of blowouts in a way. Well, I guess 2 of the 4, but
Yeah.
they didn't feel like it. I think these
Yeah.
games will be a 3 point, a field goal to win it kind of game. They're giving me those vibes. Chiefs Ravens, I think, match up well against each other.
Okay.
That'll go well. The Niners Lions, I Niners fans
That's the
should be
only toss up
worried.
I have is that game.
It
That's the only
is.
toss
It
up.
is. And it's the
That's it.
greatest toss up you could have. The whole country is tired of seeing the Niners in the NFC Championship and then complaining that for this reason or another they weren't in the
Oh
Super
yeah.
Bowl. Everybody but the little section in the Bay Area is cheering against. They don't even care who they're going up against. It could be the
Yeah.
I could say even the only thing that could make the Niners be the favorite or the go-to for fans is if it was Cowboys Niners. That's the only
Mhm.
reason time you'll
Yeah.
catch the country cheering for the Niners. But I personally have to disagree with you. I think the Niners find a way to win. Yeah,
And they might find a way to win. They might, but the way both Detroit and San Fran played their divisional games, Detroit was a way more disciplined team, and
they
that's not.
were destroying Tampa. I felt
Yeah,
bad for them.
yeah. That's not. I
It
mean, it's not
was the
saying a lot.
score was close.
It was close only because of that 3rd and 14 play with under 5 minutes left, and Detroit must have been playing prevent defense and forgot that they were only up by 2 scores, and if Tampa scored, they could easily score again. So my big prediction, sports prediction, I'm going bold here. My Chicago Cubs, my North Side lovable losers, will make at least two major additions to the major league roster. Not minor
Yeah.
league trades. These are not minor league signings. They will make two at least of some sort. Two major transactions to better the on-field product.
Do you have any names that you're watching?
I'm watching Cody Bellinger. I'm watching that.
Mm-hmm.
My two big prediction, like honestly, like if I could put names on them, it'd be Cody Bellinger and reliever Ryan Brazier. Those would be my
Okay.
two big predictions. I'm being bold here. That is a dangerous thing to be bold as a Cubs fan, just like it is to be bold as a Cowboys fan.
Hopeful.
But those are the two: Bellinger, Brazier. Make it happen, Jed. Make it happen, Carter.
Yeah, and sadly, everything I'm seeing is that the Yankees feel like the 2 moves that they've made are good enough. We are loaded and ready to run it back. So I don't. Sadly, everything points to the Yankees not doing any more moves this offseason. So I
We'll
have
see.
5 more wins to look forward to this year. So that's my that's my take on my team.
That's what you needed. That's what you needed. Yeah.
That's what keeps me going.
All right,
As a
man.
as a Yankees and Cowboys fan, they go line in line with underperforming and overhyping what the season is to come. And on that note, That's all we got.
That's all we have today, folks.
Ready to sign off? Manny here. Thank you everybody for watching. We will hope to see you soon. We love the time that everybody's taking to hang out with us for an hour and a half today.
Yeah.
JB,
JB here, signing off. Cheers to you good people.
cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.